My name is Barton Smock. I'm going to be reading some poems from some of my self-published collections. I'm probably fucking terrible at this, but here we go. I'm going to read a few from my collection called Stork Blood. The name of this poem is Whispers Arbitrarily 6 in Number. I want to tell you, but can't, how obsessed God is with me. Here's the whole of the devil's apology, does the man with one ear. When nothing was on fire, nothing was proudly orchestrating itself based on the church fire famously started by 2 pieces of convenient store bread. I am going to zip the tent now. A chalkboard eraser still strikes me as useless, a boat in the hand of God. Poor speech, imperceptible narrator of the wound my mouth endured. Honeymoon. He emerges from the driver's side of a stalled minivan as if you've been given too much information. He holds a hammer in the looseness of his stung left hand. For a moment it seems he'll attack windows. Instead he cries. His shoulders give him away. Not a car horn sounds. This is a kindness. Someone has an egg timer. I locate the itch thrown off course by my lover's legs and imagine her happy. Across town a silent alarm is pressed by the anonymous smoker of wedding cigarettes. The bomb squad arrives before the bomb squad knows it, and you join this bomb squad. Deceptively simple abominations. Before it is a child, it is a sucking noise in the muffled witchery of a blanketed woman who fakes sleep beneath a pew in a plain church. Being awake is to be what nothing comes after. I fake my mother. Silencer. I had a thing for wizards and needed something to direct my toys. I had a corrected overbite and a mold of my teeth. Many were tortured and some were swallowed. I left my tools behind when I was born. What passed through my parents came first through me. If I was the word they loved, I was the context they opposed. Necking. A better pill would be a pill that could abuse you before they arrive. Instead, I threatened my mother with my father's suicide. It is not easy to avoid the vice versa at the end of this sentence. It is not hard to be limited by the imagination, by the verbal assault that dangles you below a dog whistle but above the tooth of a beast. I impersonate those I love, and those I love are impressed. Don't think me untouched. Lift. My mother steps on a wooden block with both feet. Stepping off, she announces she is going on a diet. My father covers his ears and gets shaving cream on them. He turns me in his hands like a dish towel, then drops me at the base of the tree. I transport God's blood in 3. Fuck me. Lift. My mother steps on a wooden block with both feet. Stepping off, she announces she is going on a diet. My father covers his ears and gets shaving cream on them. He turns me in his hands like a dish towel, then drops me at the base of the tree. I transport God's blood on 3 disposable razors to my neighbor who, on a high shelf, has a microscope. Read a few from my collection, Abandonesque. Again, these are all self-published. No one is asking. Dioramic. Blow-torched a little creature. I yelp in an already soundless fire. The poor are a substitute. Name one thing I can replace. My father stuffed me in his coat and biked me to a park. He biked away when a lady approached us waving. The teeth on the zipper of his coat made me hum to myself. He said, Jesus, I'll bet she eats ice cream with... He said, Jesus, I'll bet she eats ice cream with 2 hands. Mother didn't lower her voice because Mother didn't raise it. Flatness is a landmark. What embraceable body? A flood rescue helicopter tracks above a submerged limo. A shepherd leaves his field while quoting his dead wife. One anxiety under storm. You keep secretive as a soup kitchen, the third act apparitions that are your children. A horse has nerves of horse. Grief is a manger. I set it down. A. The name must be shorter than a pastoral. The baby must outlive your father's car. Asking for the possibility of good sex must not be compared to anything. The person father is underneath must be from your past, your mother. The casket must be a rumor, and open. Rumor must be definitive, like eclipse, like eye patch. The door must be placed on the back of a military mom and a photograph is preferred. The doorway must become addicted to selfies. Dear boy, humiliate the right dog. Tether dog. Eat so much my girlfriend says, dear boy, dear C, stomach. You can't hate poetry and the world. Bob is secretly a soccer mom rubbing a lamp in public and is also sometimes Jesus trying to step on a scale. Pull. A stillborn is lit by the 3 teeth since knocked from its mother as a life form hangs itself in the closet of a nondescript sister spacecraft after imperceptibly meditating on the adventures not had by a golem. Abstract qualities. Above me, many characters frequent my father. They shake him firmly, and I pretend their hands are crumbling into my mouth. I don't know where I've lived, but know I've been moved numerous times. In the movies that have been on seemingly since my birth, there is one I miss. In it, a room service cart is toppled by 2 men going for a gun. Moments later, a shirtless woman rights the cart, and the writing wakes me to how prone I am to having a body. When we are alone, Father reads by flashlight underneath the somewhere of me. I wonder with my feet if his feet are cold. I tried early on to go to heaven, but couldn't convince a single language that I wasn't already there. When a woman looks like my mother, I spy on hell. Self-messaging. The wind overturned our trampoline, which pinned the wild white pup named Fossil. The storm passed and was our father. Our mother dragged a broom behind a small brain. 2 things that are both cognitive dissonance took root in the dead twin that once bit my arm before going back to eating crayons. One of the children I wasn't was thought to be unlovable, but later succumbed to an adorable Holocaust survivor. Are we trash? As the pup relays itself to God's headache. Bed rest. In a country bereft of curfew, part 2 of a skit assembled by orphans trades attendance for the applause of angels and skips the clothesmaker's best scene for another. A secret favorite that has Moses leaving behind an orange soccer ball to be with God in the sobbing blackness of an oven. finish up with a few from my, again, self-published collection, Think Hard on Nothing on a Farm Machine. Healer. Of the three tenses, only the future can regenerate. But for the tongue, the mouth would be forgotten. I guess we'd still have to look at it, the ugly open thing. I strained my eyes reading in the dark, pretending to read the Bible. I don't love words. Currently, I've convinced myself that in my tall cup of coffee a spider can sense itself separating. Give me an easy one. Earth on Hell, your local gas station. I pushed a baby in a grocery cart from one spot to another and back. I only just remembered no one noticed. Exoteric. A cyclist avoids a dog, but takes out a table of garage sale figurines as a drought pamphleteer reprimands a child for sucking on a hose. I haunt my faith. According to my father isn't alive. My father eavesdrops. Except for talking, he's been silent until, in pictures of her as a young woman, his mother is dead. Home. At 37, I'm not far behind my wrists. I am aware I put a certain strain on my sons. I say to stones, I've skipped my share of stones. Where fascinated, I am frightened. The story of the foot that fell asleep then broke, of the vanished schoolgirl on the wrong bus, beaten and pulled under seat after seat, taking with her that perfect weight. Atmospherics. Based solely on the original Man in Room, the man certainly seems to be charting the brain function of the child bride. You'll remember, his dementia opened to great controversy, but as he predicted, has since remained the perception of dementia. What you might not recall is that the room is the very same room we hid while using. Both men were students then, heavily armed, attractive. I still give the third world a vibrant thought. Promise. The dove went from Noah's hands over white cats and driftwood to a second, meaner dove. Sequestration. A person goes dark. Night shifts disappear. A lone panic capsizes the anatomically correct. Men fill up on mouthwash. Men float. Women bite their tongues in half before they can say women and children. Insomnia becomes more than the overhyped novelization of insomnia. A boy draws a cutlass in a broom closet and is told he can't sleep. I begin to want more from a diagnosis. A kite being flown in hell by a sun gone pro. This will be the last one. The stripper. Beauty is the beginning of beauty. A man and a woman wait together for a stripper. You know the man like an intimate thought, like a toddler covered head to toe in blue body paint stepping in front of a blue door. The woman is an unfinished stranger whose son comes home to be with war and whose husband rests until laziness subsides. The man is aware he's the devil and this makes him God. The woman is unaware she's the devil and this makes it easy. The stripper is watching a horror film and it makes her want to have a child. She decorates her home and tries to remember moving a muscle. The blood you don't see is fake.